Well, yippee fry-yay, the Denver Broncos just get some interesting news that I definitely didn't see coming, as a player who I pictured making a big impact on this offense was cut and is now playing somewhere else next year. The Chicago Bears cut a tight end who we might want to grab up during NFL free agency. We get a mock draft we have to beat up and maybe some Von Miller news at the end. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben. Helps me in the YouTube algorithm out a ton if you like the Broncos, if you would like and subscribe. So we know Sean Payton wants a tight end. Like, that's the position. If you're building his offense, obviously he needs a franchise quarterback, but then he puts a tremendous value on the tight end position. You're talking Dan Campbell. You're talking Jeremy Shockey. You're talking Jimmy Graham. He's always had tremendous tight ends. And so we thought, hey, once he gets his tight end, we are going to be cooking with gas. And so this year, the Denver Broncos were able to get a player I was over the moon excited about, and that's Donald Parham. I was excited about him because of just his highlights were absolutely wild, and then on top of it, he was very familiar with the Joe Lombardi system. Joe Lombardi is our offensive coordinator. Before that, he was with the Chargers, and he actually picked Parham over another great tight end there who then went on and played with the Patriots at a pretty high level. So you knew this is Lombardi's guy, and Payton obviously needs a tight end, and he's taking Lucas Kroll, who no one ever heard about, and giving him reps. So you're like, hey, a guy who I've seen highlights of, like, doing nasty work, just like taking a look at some of these highlights here. You just see like he has the skills to do it. And so I was just shocked to see him not even take a single snap in a regular season game this year for the Denver Broncos, because you do see the gifts out there. And you know that without a doubt, Joe Lombardi loves him. So very interesting here that the Denver Broncos just lost him. He is gone. The Broncos did not extend an offer to him, and he was snatched up by the Pittsburgh Steelers, who don't even have a quarterback yet to throw the ball to, Donald Parham, but he is totally gone. And it just really has me thinking, like, what does Sean Payton actually want in a tight end? Because obviously we had Greg Dulcich coming off of he was allegedly healthy this year, and as a healthy scratch, you see him cut during the year. You see Parham not even get on the field at all this year. And so it's just interesting to me, like, what does Sean Payton actually want in a tight end if clearly a healthy Greg Dulcich isn't that, and if clearly I mean, do you guys remember this game against the Jaguars where single-handedly he marched us down this field? I think this was a game in London, and you just see him as an absolute difference maker in Greg Dulcich. So if Parham's not good enough, if a healthy Greg Dulcich isn't good enough, what is it that Sean Payton actually wants from that tight end position? And what are we missing here? And I think the answer for what Sean Payton wants in a tight end, I'm hoping, is in this NFL draft that we end up finding who that is. So this is the Ringers big board. I absolutely love how they break this down, and they have, when they rank their pass catchers, that the number 9 and the number 14 best players in this entire draft are two tight ends who are absolute game changers and studs. And what's going to be interesting about this NFL draft is each and every time a quarterback jumps up higher than they should have been, or a tackle or a corner or a position we don't need, and it's pushing a player like a Tyler Warren or a Colston Loveland down the board to us, that is absolutely phenomenal. And we're hearing a ton of rumors out there from pretty plugged-in draftologists who are now saying that the gap between Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland isn't as big as a lot of people were thinking, and that there will definitely be teams that actually have Colston Loveland as their number 1 tight end on the board. So going all through the college season, all I heard was that Tyler Warren was definitely the best tight end in the entire college game, and that there was no close second. Well, now you're hearing people who actually study this say, you know what, you're going to have teams who actually would prefer Colston Loveland to Tyler Warren. And so that's kind of an exciting thing to me, that, we trust Sean Payton to go out and choose who is better of this and make sure that one of those players lands on this team. And just like last year, Sean Payton swears on his deathbed that he actually had Bo Nix ranked higher than other quarterbacks on that board, and he never specifically said what, but by all indications, he had him above J.J. McCarthy, he had him above Michael Penix, he had him above Drake May, and so we're just hoping the same thing happens here, that if Colston Loveland, if he thinks he's a better fit for this offense, that could be really cool. You definitely say, like, the better athlete of the two between Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren is Loveland, who is a yard after catch monster, probably not as talented a blocker as Tyler Warren is, who can step in and immediately make a difference in the blocking game. But as I think of Jimmy Graham, he was a glorified wide receiver. Like he was very similar to a Julius Thomas, where you wanted his athleticism and his difference making there. And as long as he could get in front of somebody, it didn't matter if he was throwing Gronkowski level pancake blocks, but as long as he could get in front of somebody and create a little space for a running back, that was okay. And so just seeing here that he has field tilting speed, to me, this is who the Joker is in this, where Tyler Warren is probably more of just your traditional knock him down tight end. So exciting to see that, man, could the Broncos end up with Colston Loveland just falling to him at 20? That would be crazy, crazy exciting. But what if Sean Payton truly wants to get Ashton Genty as the pick, and he's like, you know what? Let's not get a tight end in the draft. Let's find a tight end in free agency. Well, one of them maybe just opened up for us, and this is Gerald Everett. He was just cut from the Chicago Bears, so the Broncos could sign him as a free agent. And interesting to me, again, to see a connection to Joe Lombardi, that when Lombardi was in Los Angeles as the Chargers offensive coordinator, one of his stud tight ends was Gerald Everett. I remember this game so clearly, and just seeing that kind of catch out of a tight end was absolutely wild to me. Just to see that. Now, he has been a journeyman and has bounced around from the Rams to the Chargers. I think he was with Seattle for a little bit, and he definitely has some tape that isn't as great as other tape, but then times you're just like, dude, this guy is an absolute monster. Watching him here just level the defensive back, trying to bring him down against Baltimore there. We definitely have not had a tight end with this type of athleticism in quite some time here in Denver, and it could be really, really exciting. But then you see some pretty bad tape here where when he was with the Seattle Seahawks, he has multiple fumbles in a game. So let me know, would this be worth giving a flyer on a player like Gerald Everett, knowing that he does have some really flashy, amazing moments here, and then moments after an interception from his quarterback where he just totally gives up, or huge drops like that. But then you just see plays like this where dude is making people miss, and you can almost hear Bergman being like, whop, whop, like making those annoying whopping sounds. But exciting that, the Broncos could find a playmaker like Gerald Everett and then use that draft, the 20th overall draft pick, to pick a wide receiver. If you feel like you found your answer in free agency, then skip on a tight end in the draft altogether. We know that was the tight end position. The room has just been abysmal for quite some time, that we've been 30th, 31st, or 32nd the past 3 years in a row when it comes to tight end production. I think Bo Nix has a standout year if he finds a tight end who can play at a fairly high level for him this year. So let me know what you think. Other real quick piece of news here that we should share is that there's a very good chance over the next couple weeks that you're going to see Von Miller cut from the Buffalo Bills. And the question would be, how pumped would you be to have him back in Denver? Every show is basically debated, do you want Von back or not? I think if he comes back at a vet minimum, and obviously he's got one job, which is hey, we put you in on third down. You're part of that platoon of outside edge rushers, and your job is to mentor these young cats, teach Benito how to study the game like you did, teach a young Jonah Ellis how to prepare his body. But I don't think he's going to be a total difference maker. I think some people are giving some analogies or saying it's like when we had DeMarcus Ware here as one of his last seasons and won the Super Bowl with him. I think Vaughn is a level below where DeMarcus was that season. DeMarcus Ware still had moves, still had a lot left in the tank, and still physically was dominating, where we just played Buffalo in the playoffs, and I never thought Von Miller was wreaking havoc. And so, but let me know in the comments what you think. You do anything cool this weekend? Broncos country, we got our franchise quarterback. We got the best coach in the league. We got the NFL Combine just a week away. We've almost made it through winter. We've got so much to believe in.